Have you ever thought about what would happen if the main highway you use for your commute suddenly closed? What if the alternative routes were also blocked? This is where the concept of shared risk link groups, or SRLGs, comes into play, but in the world of network engineering. Picture a city's road network. The main highway is your primary route and the smaller streets are your backup routes. Now imagine a major event like a parade blocking your main highway. You'd naturally divert to the smaller streets, but what if the parade route also covers these smaller streets? They all share a common risk: the parade. In network terms, these roads form a shared risk link group, or SRLG. Now let's apply this to network engineering. Consider a primary data route from one router to another. If that primary route fails, the data is rerouted through a backup path. However, if the primary route and part of the backup path share a common risk, such as being susceptible to the same physical damage, they form an SRLG. So why is understanding SRLG important? If your primary route fails due to a shared risk event, and your backup route also depends on elements affected by the same event, you could end up with no functional route, even though you had a backup system in place. How do we mitigate this? In multi-protocol label switching, or MPLS, you can configure SRLGs to inform the network which links share common risks. When selecting a backup path, the network avoids links in the same SRLG as the failed link it's protecting. This ensures your backup path uses a different fuel source and is more likely to function even if the primary path fails due to a shared risk event. To sum it up, understanding and implementing SRLGs is crucial for network reliability. It helps in planning for effective backup systems that are resistant to shared risks, ensuring your data reaches its destination even when the main highway is blocked. Moving from the theoretical to the practical, let's now dive into how one can configure SRLGs in network operating systems. While the specific steps might vary depending on the system you're working with, the general principles remain the same across different platforms. First, you need to define the SRLG. To do this, enter privileged exec mode on your router and use the empls to SRLG command followed by the desired SRLG name, for example, SRLG power grid. Once you've defined the SRLG, it's time to assign interfaces to the SRLG. Navigate to the interface configuration mode for the interfaces that share a common risk. Use the MPLs to SRLG group command followed by the previously defined SRLG name. Optionally, you can configure MPLS and label switched paths, also known as LSPs, as needed for your network. You might use the exclude SRLG statement within LSP configuration to explicitly prevent the backup path from using links in the same SRLG as the primary path. By following these steps and referencing your device's documentation, you can configure SRLGs to enhance the effectiveness of your MPLS backup tunnels and ensure they provide reliable protection against shared risks in your network. Remember, it's not just about understanding the concept of SRLGs, but effectively implementing them that makes all the difference.